This is no longer a looming crisis. It's an urgent one, and it's on our collective doorstep to solve. Everyone needs a home, a roof over their heads. Homes can be loving places to raise families and the first step on the road to self-reliance and security. Today, housing affordability is at an all-time low, with millions of Australians experiencing housing stress. Despite generations of well-meaning attempts to address the issue, it's not getting any better. The simple truth is, our housing crisis has been decades in the making, with supply and demand issues for well-located properties in city centres putting upward pressure on prices. The knock-on effects such as homelessness, health and well-being, employment and economic growth are threatening the Australian way of life. Property is the lifeblood of PEXA, and buying a home is one of the most important purchases most people will make in their lifetime. It is our role to make that experience as efficient, safe and reliable as possible. PEXA works closely with banks, law firms, industry groups, governments and not-for-profits, including organisations like Homes for Homes and Housing All Australians. We see a clear opportunity to help solve this pressing national emergency. The private sector can accelerate practical national solutions that can be immediately and independently deployed. This is why we partnered with LongView to forensically determine the real causes of Australia's housing crisis, to put new and practical solutions on the table.
Most of the public discussion to date has been old debates on ideas that haven't worked. What we were trying to identify is where can we and other colleague businesses in the private sector, how can we use what we do to deliver outcomes that will make a better housing system, which are also commercially viable. For 100 years, Australia's house prices have been driven up by the value of the land underneath those houses. And that land keeps going up in value because we have the second highest population growth rate in the world. And so if you have more and more demand for the same amount of land, the price keeps going up. Australia's private rental system is broken. Just because renters are finding it very difficult does not mean that landlords are doing well. Research showed that actually the system that we currently have doesn't work for either renters or landlords. We need to think about a different type of housing system. In other parts of the world, there are large-scale housing funds, both housing funds that help through shared equity, help people buy their own home, or who provide long-term, stable, secure, dignified rental accommodation for people. Those funds can be good places for investors to invest, in fact, better places to invest than individual property, but they lead to much better housing outcomes, more home ownership and a much more dignified and secure rental environment.
Where and when are the right places to invest? What are the affordable housing needs of each community? What supply is currently available? Does it meet demand? What will future supply and demand look like? And who will need to be accommodated in future? This information is available, but it is hard to pull together in a way that investors need to make informed decisions. We at IDEA are working on this problem from two directions: demand and supply. To supply housing, investors need information to select the right locations to invest in and to time their investments. So we've built a national database of land settlement patterns across Australia. It shows where residential land is, what it is zoned for, and what housing is on it. And we forecast the future use of land to 2041, including loss of developable land due to climate-induced risk. This gives all stakeholders an understanding of the total capacity for housing in Australia and the rate at which that capacity will be taken up under certain demographic and migration assumptions.
PEXA has made significant progress in this space, including contributing $300,000 towards social and affordable housing through our shared value partnership with Homes for Homes, a partnership we are extremely passionate about and will continue to support in years to come. We need to bring together the power of governments at all levels, the speed, agility and local insights of the private sector, and the advocacy of not-for-profit organisations to respond quickly with targeted solutions.